This is Joe, and he's been my horse since I was 12. I've had him 12 years now. In the winter he gets very grumpy, he hates this weather, and he's basically got grumpier as he's got older, like an old man basically. And he's a bit of a handful when I ride him. He still likes to take off, doesn't realise his age, I don't think. Basically, he's been diagnosed with Cushing's disease, and it affects his coat, and internally it affects his kidneys and things like this.
It's a problem of the ageing horse. It's rare to diagnose Cushing's under 20 years of age or 19 to 20 years of age.
Well, my other horse had Cushing's disease as well, my little pony, who I'd had since I was 5, so I've watched him get it and now he's got it.
It's relatively minor unless it's associated with a very debilitating disease of the feet called laminitis. And Cushing's and laminitis tend to go hand in hand.
They normally have laminitis when they're younger, and especially he hasn't had it so much, but my other pony did. They have that when they're incredibly lame all the time, and then when they get older, it turns into Cushing's a bit more, and it really affects the coat. So in the summer they don't lose their winter coat. So often they're quite hot and they're sweating a lot because they've got a very thick coat and it's quite curly. The coat changes; it's coarser. It's coarse and quite curly, where it used to be quite soft. And normally it affects the kidneys a lot, so they drink a lot, and then obviously they wee a lot, and it really does affect them that way. You know, although they are old, you want them to have a good quality life, and it is a bit, I mean, the coat's a problem as well, but I wouldn't say that's the worst. I think it's mainly the kidneys that is the problem when they drink a lot, and you know, you wonder why it's having an effect on them.
It's a horse feed supplement.
Hold it up, let's have a look at it. There we go, there you go.
And it's essentially to maintain the circulation in the horse's body and to assist with balance with the horse's internal systems. It's something that we've been working on now probably for about a 10-year period, with a lot of research behind it. Obviously the publication that we had in the Journal of Neuroendocrinology, which some of the scientists may have seen, was a stepping stone in the right direction.
Basically, and here's the feed, and he gets a separate feed to try and put some weight on him, because he's lost a few teeth as well. That's the problem when they're older.
What's in there?
This is just, we get it specially made like this. It's basically a few nuts, a bit of bran. It's trying to get his fat back on him basically. So I just give him this, but it's quite dry. So I give him as well sugar beets, which is basically just sugar, so it's quite a lot of cellulose in there. But it comes in a powder, so you have to soak it for 24 hours. So we just soak it and it just moistens it a little bit. And then I give him, this is basically, we've been trying this out for nearly a year now, and it's basically a herbal remedy. And we've been trying it out to see if it helps him with his Cushing's disease. And we have noticed a difference in his coat. It smells quite nice as well, quite aniseedy.
Let's have a look. What can you tell me about that? What can you tell me about what's in there? Or is it like Kentucky Fried Chicken and you can't tell me what the secrets are? What's in there?
It's not quite like Kentucky Fried Chicken. I know a few people who have actually licked their finger and dipped into the pot to have a bit of a taste. It's essentially, it smells of aniseed. It's got a slight herbal fragrance, I guess, because one of the main constituents is feverfew herb. It's an all-natural product. Its constituents, it's actually on the tub, so I'm not relating any trade secrets here. Soy flour, aniseed, and feverfew herb. So it's an all-natural feedstuff for horses to help maintain health, but it's something that we think is suitable for laminitic and suitable for horses which have Cushing's syndrome or other metabolic disturbances.
It smells like licorice all sorts.
What do you do with that?
Basically, we just give him 2 on the top and then just...
It's been somewhat of a crusade, starting with the inspiration with my own horse and his condition. We're then thinking we've got to go back to basic science. We need to look at whether there is the same imbalance in my horse in a population of other horses, which was the project where we looked at some horses at a sanctuary site that was published, as I mentioned, in the journal.
Stir it in a little bit, and he's quite good actually, because normally he finds that he doesn't normally eat. He's quite a fussy eater, and he quite likes this, which I was quite surprised about, because he normally hates stuff in his feed.
The most difficult part in all of that is getting credibility with fellow scientists when you're not from that specific background, and then all the time the time constraints of having to chase funding. As a lot of other scientists may have said, the problem is always how you split your time between having the cash to do the research and actually doing the research, which is where your inspiration is, where your love is, where your passion is, and where you see the future.
I do think I'm not sure on all the chemicals and stuff, but I do know it's to do with helping to prevent his Cushing's disease, occurring as much as it is. I mean, he's obviously got it, so he's never going to get rid of it, but it's trying to help the symptoms a little bit more.
Certainly his coat is much, much finer. We're now in May, and normally he would have retained that thick, curly winter coat, which he hasn't done this year, so I'm tending to think that because he's gone on that supplement, that's got something to do with it.
He should hopefully eat his, and then he'll just eat it up. I'm not hand feeding you all of it. Come on. Everything's going wrong with you, isn't it, eh?
I think it's early days to be very certain about that. If there is significant improvement, then everything's to the good. Obviously, it's not a double-blind clinical trial, which science demands in this day and age.
I don't know. I mean, I can't say for sure it has. There's definitely been a difference in his coat, which I have noticed, but I can't say for sure if it's that or what. But I can't think what else it's been. Nothing else has changed with him.
You have to be very careful how you portray what you've actually come up with, and we want to have this as something that people can have confidence in. There are so many different theories as to why laminitis by itself exists and why the metabolic disturbances that actually result in Cushing's disease exist, that all we are doing, if I'm speaking bluntly, is providing a piece of the puzzle, but we hope that it's a piece of the puzzle that can help a good number of horses and make a difference to them.